Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Rob, your local problematic Leo, and today on Dress to Kill, we are finally taking a closer look at Xaku Prime. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, as many of you guys know, things have been a little bit off in the universe as of late, from the US political elections, down to the tragic passing of Minky, and you know, me myself, I've got my own personal family problems, and work is gearing up for the holidays, so really, I've been a little bit out of it. However, thinking about Xaku Prime and what Xaku represents has really put a little bit of extra gas in my tank when it comes to inspiration, especially in the current state of the world. So before we get into that, I do want to go ahead and remind you guys to give this video a thumbs up. We must feed the algorithm god, so if you find any inspiration or just like to have me rambling in the background, give this video a little bit of engagement. So without ado, let's get dressed. Now, as always, we start things off with a little bit of a reminder. You'll be able to find all of the color codes for these customizations down in the description box below. R stands for row, C stands for column, the palette name will be in there as well, and the rest is going to rely on your own common sense. Good luck with that. Now, as you can see, the very first customization that we have is one of my classic ones. However, do not be fooled. This is not our standard rose gold Storm Palette C3 R3, no. This is Storm Palette C2 R5. I actually wanted to go ahead and warm it up a little bit in order to go a little bit better with the kind of deep rose burgundy that we've got going on with this. And when I first put this together, I wasn't really thinking too much about it until I went ahead and I slapped on the, what is it called? The Ephemera. And then I realized this is bisexual lighting Xaku Prime. I'm just putting it out there into the universe. Now, for those of you guys who are unaware and have not noticed, I have actually not used any gender-specific pronouns for Xaku because they are a they, them, they are a non-binary Warframe, which I kind of absolutely love. And I kind of embraced that. Like I was talking about earlier, a lot of things are happening here politically, and I think that a lot of people are feeling away. So I just felt like when I saw Xaku Prime, this was an opportunity to do a thing. And you'll see it more clearly in one of the following customizations, but this one I really did want to represent because I think it's pink and blue, right? There's pink and blue and there's whites. So I went ahead and did that, and then I warmed it up a little bit. And it's very classic Rob, but at the same time, you know, we represent, we do not put up with the bisexual erasure, okay? Don't worry, we'll have some things for the NBs a little bit later on. But I did want to go ahead and show you what this looked like without the Sapphire Ephemera. However, because of the fact, and this is why we're kind of in this part of the conversation, I don't really love a lot of armor pieces on Xaku Prime. I actually don't really like armor pieces on Xaku Prime, mainly because of the fact that they, how do I put this? They're so wonky. And I think the charm is in the fact that they're a little bit off kilter, that they're, you know, kind of made of different pieces and parts, and I don't want to cover that by making anything too uniform. So one of the things you'll notice is I do love this shoulder piece right here, so I did make sure to go ahead and put something that I normally don't put on them, which is a sigil on their right emblem. Oh no, it's not a sigil, it's an emblem. I put a right emblem on there, and that is going to be the Invadi Sakara. There's a bunch of different emblems that you can use. I'm sure a lot of you guys normally do it, but I really wanted to do it and specifically just do it on this one side. It's an intentional thought because they're you know, kind of tilted and wonky, that you could go ahead and kind of bring that out. Plus that's a perfect spot for that, you know what I mean? I want to point out a couple different ones if you have them. The Tethra Zoom Quantum Emblem, that is really good if you want an additional energy effect in there. If you like a little gem action, you could put the Katir Sakara in there. There is also the Apex Sakara, or any of the ones that come from that one event that I can't remember. But also the Vitus Emblem has a really, really nice little energy effect if you want to go ahead and add that in. I like the simplicity of the Sakara, the Invadi Sakara, plus it's got a little metallic in there, so we're going to go ahead and run with that. Now, I did want to go ahead and show you some of the other things because we're talking about, you know, the attachments and it being kind of a little bit off kilter. I wanted to show you one of the things that I do kind of like on this though is all of the, what are we calling them? Like the Bane, like shoulder pieces, like, is it called the Mortis? You know, like the ones with the heads of the enemies. Now, the attachment point is not fantastic if you look at it from the back right here, but I mean, I think if you're going for the theme, it's kind of like we're going for something more interesting than anything. So it's almost kind of like they've got the big shoulder piece on one side, and then they've got like the slain head of the enemy mounted on the other side. I'm kind of into that theme. This one does not attach great. I'm just putting that out there. But I'm just saying, like, if you do want to do another shoulder piece that kind of feeds into the, like, wonkiness of it all, this is definitely going to be it. One thing you'll also notice is I do not have a sigil on their front. Is it a sigil? It's you know what I'm talking about. I don't have one there because it does not sit well on them. And a part of me is like, you know what? You kind of got to embrace the way that they are in their nature, in their beautiful, wonderful nature, and, you know, just let them be them. I also feel like the Mag Heirloom Signa is a perfect fit for them. I tried a couple of different Signas, and I wasn't too happy with the way that they turned out. I think that this is a great way to frame their face. Let me show you what it looks like without. I mean, it's fine, you know what I mean? But I think that this kind of gives the head a little bit more bulk, a little more roundness, and I'm kind of into that. Now, before we jump into anything else, I do want to go ahead and show off the SANDR that came with them as their, like, prime one, if I can remember. It's the Artifacts one. Really, really pretty. Not my style at all. I do love me a good back attachment, but it is a little bit much. It does do some movement, and it has a nice, like, little wispy energy effect, but, you know, I like to see the butt. I like to see, if you got a good butt, you got to show it off, right? All right. Let me show you how this looks broken real quick before we move on. I absolutely love the way the Sapphire Ephemera works on them because of the fact that it gives some bulk to the skeletality. You know what I'm talking about. It looks like they're a little bit more beefy. So let's go ahead and jump into the next look. Now, before I get into this, we're going to be taking a look at some ephemeras. The ephemera that I chose and that I went with, I don't know if it's maybe because I was listening to, like, a lot of, like, Tokyo city pop, like Sunset Tokyo city pop in the background, and it was just kind of, like, chill and jazzy, but there is something about... Oh, I didn't even put the... I didn't even put the ephemera on. We'll look at it. We'll look at it in a second, okay? We'll look at it in a second. I was building it up this entire time. I didn't even put the... Listen, we're going to rewind it back real quick because it is this one. The Asperius Apex Ephemera. That's the... We're going to, like, rewind. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. We're going to go back here. Your mind is going to be wiped for a moment. And then we're going to be like, oh, let's look at this Tokyo City Pop one. Boom. I, in general, do not like this ephemera, but for some reason on this specific customization it kind of feels like bars of neon lights, and I have to say I went back and forth with this a lot because I don't like this but I did end up selecting the armor pieces for our second customization specifically based on this because I wanted to give it a little bit more heft in the back because, you know, usually I like to show off the buttocks. If you got a butt, show it off, right? So I wanted to give something extra in there. And I actually feel like it drapes nicely. It almost works well with this additional armor piece that's on the thigh. And it kind of, I don't know, it kind of feels a little mystical. It feels a little bit magical. But since we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple other ephemera. Ephemera? Yes, ephemera that I was looking at for these. So for those of you guys who are wondering, that is the Orinus chest plate and Orinus shoulder plates. Again, I'm using the Sakara on this side in body to kind of balance things out a little bit, but I do love that little spike that comes out of the shoulder. I like it a lot. Anyway, so another ephemera that I kind of really loved on this too, because I was kind of going for this like Northern Lights kind of feel. Something chill, something cool, but also kind of like funky. So I love the way that like wraps around, especially with the Oranist kind of stuff. And then, of course, the mag heirloom like Signa. I think that looks really, really pretty with there. I mean, this is a favorite that I've been having a lot lately. The Katena, the shading that it kind of gives with this, again, another kind of like aura vibe that we're getting off of it. I also very much like the Herodotus, because it kind of coats you in this kind of like mystical vibe feel. And I figured that like that's where we're going. If you want to go a little bit less, you know, you can just go ahead and slap on the Gloriana ephemera and toss in the Officium in the back. But really, I don't know what it is. I fell in love with this, and I was thinking to myself, this is actually the customization that I finished last. But look, do you catch it? Do you catch that like purple glow and then like the haze that is coming off of this? I don't know if it's picking it up on the screen, but there's like this haze that I absolutely love, and I think it's just beautiful. And then when you go ahead and this is why I have the mag heirloom Signa on there, because you see the little sparky things, and then you see the little twinkles that are like in the midsection that kind of like come out and populate, almost like little stars, like little constellations. There's just something like that reminds me of something like funky in the city, and you know what? I decided to go ahead and stick with it because it made me feel good. And I think that customizations, whether we love them or whether other people love them or not, it should really all be about what inspires us and what makes us feel good. And this customization definitely does. Notice I cooled it down. We actually used the silver, and we didn't use a bright silver either. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the final look. Now, I'm probably going to butcher the explanation of this last look up. I just hope that it works out right, because I think I have it in my head correctly, okay? So, this is actually what really got me juiced for everything. As we all know, Xaku is non-binary. So why not do a tribute to that with a customization specifically tying in with the non-binary flag? So for those of you guys who have never seen the non-binary flag, I believe, oh my god, I'm going to get the colors wrong. This is going to be an embarrassment. Oh, do I remember? I think it's purple up top. And then it's, oh no, I did it wrong. No, it's white up top. And then it's, oh, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I f***ed it all up. Oh, I cannot remember now. But the colors are white, yellow, purple. It's purple. Purple's the first one. It's purple, white, yellow, and black. I think that's it. Okay? Oh, it's probably wrong. But anyway, one of the colors that represents the non-binary flag is for the people who feel like they encompass all genders, right? Is that right? Yeah, and then they're non-binary. And then the two middle ones are two middle colors encompass the people that feel that they are like more than one of the two genders or somewhere in between. And then the last color, which I think is the black color, represents people who don't feel like they fit anywhere on the gender spectrum. They're just not. So I figured I would go ahead and do a customization based off of that. Now, I had to do some tricking of stuff because technically there's no whites, but there is a very, very light kind of, okay, I'll show you my favorite palettes in a second. Like this is how deep we go in. If you can take a look above me right now, there's a whole bunch of different whites that I go through, and there's a whole bunch of different shades that I go through to kind of like select the correct white. I actually did something very, very similar for the dark pieces in here. I wanted to go with a dark metallic to to kind of have that black representation, right? And then we wanted to do that pop of yellow, which is more of a goldenrod here. And then purple, it was hard because there's so many contrasting things that I could have put it into, so I went ahead and really leaned into it as an energy color. Let me go ahead and remove the ephemera real quick so that you can see it. So there's just a little touch of purple in there. Now, as you can see, I did use the Saturn 6 armor pieces, which I think are a pretty good fit, give a nice bulky feel specifically to this frame, but I figured I would go ahead and mess with the ephemera a little bit so that we could go ahead and get that look. And I figured, since we're doing the Saturn 6, why not go ahead and toss on the Protovire ephemera and then do gold and purple plates, right? And then I would lighten up the energy so that it would look kind of like gold and white at the same time, just so that we can get a little touch of it. I wasn't sure because I don't usually do so crazy bright a color, but I figured if I kept everything else very neutral, that we could go ahead and do a very strong, very dominant pop. And that is a big tip for everybody who wants to use a very strong color. Keep everything else very neutral. If you want to incorporate other colors, add it in through the energy, especially because Xaku is very heavily energy based. Now, I do want to do a little thing because I wasn't sure if this was it. I wasn't sure if this was going to be it. However, if you take a look at the idle animation for Xaku Prime, because I was like, it's a lot of color, it's maybe too much color, it's a little bit garish, but if Xaku Prime, there you go, could do this sick ass looking Transformers, almost kind of like animation with their idleness, I was like, no, the one that represents the non-binary flag should be the fucking warrior. It should be the beefy powerhouse of a customization, and I figured that this is where we were going to go with it. I actually really, really love the combination, and again, I don't do colors too much, so this is the way that I do colors. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that. For all of the non-binary people out there, I'm sorry, I kind of butchered it. I really did spend the morning like going through all this stuff, but clearly it did not stick. It's been a long day, okay? Now, before we go, we are going to jump to the very, very first look again, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at how different helmets fit on this one, and then we're going to go ahead and see how how the helmet fits on. No, we're just going to do the helmet and how it looks on other shit, okay? We're not going to go that crazy. First one. Absolutely terrible. This is the base Xaku helmet. I don't even remember liking this one at all. And then there's this is specifically because people asked me, okay, to look at this. This is the Xaku Kagura helmet, which is of course with that cool kind of like base thing. Is that a face on the side of their face? That's not right. That shouldn't be there, right? That face should be on their actual face. What? Something's wrong here. This is like some weird, like, the substance kind of bullshit. Hold on. If I... What is that? We're going to put that away right now because that is kind of freaking me out. Okay, we are not getting into this. It was 97 precisely. There you go. And then we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at the helmet for this one. That one actually I think looks probably the best on it, which is the Kintsu helmet. It's got a little like top knot action, so it kind of like fits into everything, and I think with the ephemera and everything going on, it's really pretty easy to hide if you want to go ahead and do something like that. I did forget, because I'm a dummy, to show the broken version of this, but I think that the that the Protovire ephemera on that skin with the flaming crown, I think it's pretty solid. Anyway, that is going to do it for me for now. Let me know how you guys feel about these customizations down in the comments below. Please be nice. I'm sorry. I tried. But as always, I don't know where I'm going with this, but thank you all for coming on and love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.